Friendship Day, so happy Friendship Day to all of you. And on the occasion of Friendship Day, we will discuss Krishna Sudama pastimes. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Hari Jaya Girivara Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की श्रीमद्-भागवतम की हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भगवत्य उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। We are reading from Canto 10, requesting devotees to open it up. Reading from Canto 10, chapter number 80. Canto 10 is titled The Samam Bonam. Chapter number 80 is Brahmana Sudama visits Lord Krishna in Dwaraka. We will recite verse number 1 and then we will discuss a summary study of chapter 80 and chapter 81. Shri Raja Uvacha Bhagavanyani Chanyani Mukundasya Mahatmanaha Viryanya Ananta Viryasya Shrotum Ichhami He Prabhu Bhagavanyani Chanyani Mukundasya Mahatmanaha Viryanya Ananta Viryasya Shrotum Ichhami He Prabhu Bhagavanyani Chanyani Mukundasya Mahatmanaha Viryanya Ananta Viryasya Shrotum Ichhami He Prabhu. Devotees can repeat.
Bhagavanyani Chanyani Mukundasya Mahatmanaha Viryani Ananta Viryasya Shrotum Ichhami He Prabhu
Bhagavanyani Chanyani Mukundasya Mahatmanaha Viryanya Ananta Viryasya Shrotum Ichhami He Prabhu. Bhagavanyani Chanyani Mukundasya Mahatmanaha Viryanya Ananta Viryasya Shrotum Ichhami He Prabhu. Bhagavanyani Chanyani Mukundasya Mahatmanaha Viryanya Ananta Viryasya Shrotum Ichhami He Prabhu. Shri Raja Uvacha. The king Parikshit said, Bhagavan, my Lord Shukdev Goswami, Yani, which cha and anyani others Mukundasya of Lord Krishna Maha Atmanaha the Supreme Soul Viryani valorous deeds Ananta unlimited Viryasya whose valor Shrotum to hear Ichhami I wish Hey Prabhu O Master. Translation by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. King Parikshit said, My Lord, O Master, I wish to hear about the other valorous deeds performed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda, whose valor is unlimited. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahit Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jagannath Srivasadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwar Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Shukdev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit are talking to each other. Shukdev Goswami has started, towards the end, he has almost finished reciting some pastimes of Lord Krishna. And more or less he is in the mood of, it appears that he is in the mood of winding up. But then Maharaj Parikshit says, I want to hear more about the valorous deeds performed by Mukunda, whose valor is unlimited. I want to hear more about the personality of Godhead who frees, about hearing about whom frees one from all miseries. That is the intent. But then Shukdev Goswami must be thinking that, you have just 2 days left. 5 days are over. After 2 days you will die. But still Maharaj Parikshit is telling that I want to hear more. Someone can argue that why don't you hear about others now? Bahut hua, let's change the topic. So Parikshit Maharaj is very clear that only if he hears about Krishna and Krishna alone will his heart be satisfied. So therefore the subject matter of hearing is Krishna alone. In fact, Parikshit Maharaj makes a very emphatic statement in the next verse. He says, one who knows the essence of life. Let me read the exact translation. One, O Brahmana, how could anyone who knows the essence of life and is disgusted by endeavoring for sense gratification give up the transcendental topics of Lord Uttama Shloka after hearing them repeatedly? This gives us a hint. Who is not interested in hearing? Who is not interested in hearing Srimad-Bhagavatam? हरे कृष्णा. कथा में आप लोग बात मत कीजिए, कथा सुनिए. कथा सुनने आए हैं तो कथा सुनिए. How could anyone who knows the essence of life, जिसको life का मतलब, one who understands what life is. So anyone who understands what life is should not be interested in sense gratification. So this is the qualification of the people who will be interested to hear about Krishna. They know the essence of life, number one. Essence of human life is tapasya. Essence of human life is to go back home, back to God. Brahma Jigyasa. So such people, they have to give up sense gratification because they should be disgusted. So those who do not know the essence of life and those who are not disgusted with sense gratification, they are the ones who will not be interested to hear Bhagavatam. They are the ones who need reminder calls ki Sunday feast how. But again one may argue, sun liya hai. I have seen the TV serial also. I know Krishna Sudama Leela also. सुना हूँ, मूवी भी देखा हूँ, सीरियल भी देखा हूँ, नहीं आऊँगा. But here Parikshit Maharaj says, how could anyone give up the transcendental topics of Lord Uttam Shloka after hearing them repeatedly? मतलब बार बार सुनने के बाद भी हमको और सुनने की इच्छा हो. This is the test. If I don't have a desire to hear again and again and again, that means I'm hearing at a superficial platform. I'm hearing rather just for some intellectual titillation, or I'm hearing just because I have nothing else to do. So it's a Sunday. सुनना कभी कभी सुनना भी चाहिए. बॉस की सुन रहे हैं, परिवार वालों की सुन रहे हैं, कभी भगवान के बारे में भी सुन रहे हैं. So no. One should go on hearing them repeatedly. When you hear the message or the pastimes of Lord Krishna repeatedly, heart gets purified. This is what a man who is going to die in the next 2 days is saying. And then he glorifies that speech which describes the quality of the Lord, that is real speech. Those hands which work for him are real hands. The mind which always remembers Krishna is the true mind. And those ears are sanctified ears which hear about the topics related to him. This is something which he says. So Shukdev Goswami, once he, with so much desire and respect, Shukdev Goswami's qualification is he wants to hear more, and he has great desire and respect for Lord Krishna, bhakti for Lord Krishna. Seeing such qualifications, Shukdev Goswami decided to speak more to Maharaj Parikshit. Shukdev Goswami says that Lord Krishna had one Brahmana friend. Acharyas in the commentary, they say his name was Sudama. Now, why is he worth being described in Srimad-Bhagavatam? Who is this friend of Krishna and what is his worth? Srimad-Bhagavatam talks about Chanakya also, but Srimad-Bhagavatam does not describe Chanakya Pandit. It just says Kinchit Brahmana, that's all. One Brahmana will do this, that's all. Half a line, half a shloka maybe. But similar treatment is not given to Sudama. The Bhagavatam says, what were the qualities of Sudama? So Shukdev Goswami is saying that Krishna had one Brahmana friend and these were his qualities. Number one, he was very learned, most learned. Number two, he was detached from all sense enjoyment. Number three, his mind was peaceful. And number four, his senses were subdued. And number five, He was maintaining himself with whatever comes of its own accord. These are the 5 great qualities of the friends of Krishna. I will not ask that question which all of you are thinking, but still let's ask. How many of you want to serve Krishna? How many of you want to become a servant of Krishna to become a friend of Krishna? Please raise your hands. कुछ लोग हाथ नहीं उठा रहे हैं, हम तो डायरेक्ट लवर बनेंगे. Please understand, you become a friend of Krishna to ultimately become a servant of Krishna. Service is the most important, and these are the qualities of those who serve Krishna as friends. Number 1, you have to be most learned. That means you have to read the Shastra. Read Srila Prabhupada books. If you don't read, you cannot serve Krishna. Number 2, you have to be detached. We all have to be detached from sense enjoyment. One who has hopes to become happy by sense enjoyment cannot serve Krishna. They are doing something else in the name of service, even if they are seemingly externally doing some service. Number 3, the mind has to be peaceful. That means Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kamshati. One should not hanker for those things which I don't have, and one should not lament for those things which I have lost. Senses have to be subdued. One cannot be a slave of their senses. One cannot be slave of the mind if one wants to serve Krishna. And then one should be satisfied. Swadharmam acharanam shaktya vidharma cha nivartanam daivala labdhena santosha atmavich charanachana. One should do their prescribed duty, which is in line with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, which is not adharmic. And one should give their 100%, not 99 or not 110. And after giving their 100%, and after working according to their nature and Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, not caring what others are saying, what others are doing, whatever result that comes on its own, one has to do optimum endeavor, not extra endeavor in life. Without doing extra endeavor, whatever comes, one should be satisfied with it. Save time to chant Hare Krishna, save time to serve the spiritual master. Only such a person can be satisfied. When the messenger of Rukmini, some other Brahmana, had taken the love letter of Rukmini to Lord Krishna, the first question which Lord Krishna asked the Brahmana was, "My dear Brahmana, are you satisfied in your mind?" That means one becomes very powerful if they are satisfied. Satisfaction does not mean laziness. Satisfaction means work according to Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, number 1. Number 2, do optimum endeavor, not minimal endeavor or extra endeavor. And then whatever comes on its own, be happy with it. I will make a statement for which people will probably walk out of this class. In corporate, I was taught, everybody was taught, go that extra mile. नहीं जाना है extra mile. Extra mile नहीं जाना है. Save time. Save time for things which you like to do. And your soul will be satisfied not by karma, jnana or yoga. It will be satisfied only with bhakti, because bhakti is natural to the soul. Karma, jnana and yoga are foreign to the soul. So therefore, Sudama was satisfied. Not just Sudama was great, his wife was also very great. Generally, it is seen, if some family member is not well-to-do, other family members, they disassociate with such a family member. बेसिकली जिसके पास पैसा नहीं है उसके साथ कोई नहीं रहता. इफ यू वांट टू टेस्ट हाउ मच पीपल लव यू, डिक्लेयर करिए कि आई हैव नो मनी, आई कैनॉट गिव यू एनीथिंग. नो मैटर हाउ मच टाइम यू स्पेंड विथ मी, आई कैनॉट गिव यू एनीथिंग. देन यू विल कम टू नो. And I have experienced this personally. I have so many cousins, so many friends, so many juniors, seniors, relatives, brothers, sisters who used to call me daily. अब कोई कॉल नहीं करता. पता नहीं क्या हो गया अचानक से सब. Anyways, we understand how the world works. So, the wife of Sudama didn't leave Sudama or didn't become upset with Sudama or didn't file a divorce with Sudama. She was suffering along with Sudama. Why? Because she respected Sudama. What qualities did Sudama had that the wife respected Sudama? She knew that her husband is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. And her husband will never pray for anything except devotion to Lord Krishna. She knew this point. But she was not able to tolerate that her husband was suffering so much, although her husband was in bliss. But externally, his clothes were torn, he was weak, the nerves in his body were protruding out of his skin. He was looking very weak. Not out of, she herself had learnt the art of tolerating hunger. In fact, her wife, Sudama's wife, is so great that when some food used to come to the house, she used to serve the husband and starve herself. That was her chastity. But not because of her own hunger or her own clothes or jewelry or health or whatever. Because she was not able to tolerate her husband suffer so much, so one day she approached the husband, and with fear she was speaking to her husband. Why fear? Because Sudama would take out his belt and beat her. Domestic violence? No. She was afraid because she knew the great character of Sudama. She was going to approach Sudama for a favor from Lord. She was going to convince Sudama that you go to Lord Krishna and ask for a favor. And she knew that her husband will never do this. So therefore, knowing the great mind of her exalted husband, she was afraid that I'm going to propose something which he has not even thought of in his life. Srimad-Bhagavatam gives a very simple definition of how to be happy in family life. Husband should be devoted to Krishna. Wife should be assisting the husband as much as possible. Wife should give husband authority, services, and comfort. Let him have the authority. Because that's how the male-bodied soul functions. A male-bodied soul needs authority. घर में आते ही पानी वानी सब थोड़ा comfort होना चाहिए. And what does a female-bodied soul wants? Attention, security, love. लिख लो. Authority, services, comfort, attention, security, love. Attention देना है. Be attentive to what they say. Security means उनके मन में कोई डर नहीं होना चाहिए. They should feel safe. The best security is spiritual shelter. Family members should feel that I am under someone who is spiritually very advanced. And one should care for them. Real love is to promote them towards Krishna. Of course, apart from that also you have to show love. Thailand ले जाना पड़ेगा, खिलाना पड़ेगा, घुमाना पड़ेगा. थाईलैंड नहीं ले सकते तो हिमाचल प्रदेश ले जाओ या मसूरी ले जाओ, कहीं तो ले जाओ एटलीस्ट चिकमंगलुर तो ले जाओ, ले जाना पड़ेगा. That is a responsibility. So stop all the miseries in house by devoting the house to Krishna. Let the man have all authority, services and comfort, and let the woman have all attention, security and love, and let's all focus on Krishna, and for God's sake stay away from drugs and divorce. This is the message, very simple message which we learn from Sudama's household life. So Sudama's wife approached Sudama. She said, "Isn't it true that the husband of Lakshmi is a personal friend of your exalted self?" Like that she starts talking. She was expecting that Sudama will say that, how can he be my friend? So immediately the wife says, "I have heard that he is very compassionate to Brahmanas." But then Sudama, out of humility, will say that I am not even a Brahmana. I don't have qualities of a Brahmana, as told in 18th chapter, sloka number 42 of Bhagavad Gita. Sama dama tapa shaucham shantir arjavam evacha jnana vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. All these 9 qualities of Brahmana I don't have. And then immediately the wife says that he gives shelter to anybody who approaches him. Wife is a very intelligent wife. The wife says he is the real shelter and he will give abundant wealth to everybody. But then Sudama may say that, how do I know whether he is in Indraprastha or whether he is in Vrindavan or whether he is... So she says that I have come to know that Lord Krishna has given up the use of weapons. At a particular time in life, Kshatriyas take sannyas from the usage of weapons. So Lord Krishna has already entered that phase. That means this was the reason why he said that I will not lift any weapons in Mahabharata. After killing Dantavakra, there is a place near Mathura called as Vishram Ghat. Lord Krishna rested there and there he decided no more weapons. And that day he gave up association with his wives also. Matlab, he was not very actively leading family life. From that day onwards, he used to stay in a separate palace. And only occasionally he used to go and meet his various wives. Matlab, he was preparing himself for Vanaprastha life. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is also setting an example how to lead an ideal household life. So she was telling that I have come to know that Lord Krishna is now staying in Dwarka only. He has given up a warrior life, active warrior life. He has given up active family life. So if you go, he will meet you. He has time now. So like that, she keeps saying that he gives his own self to anyone who remembers him. And you are his devotee, he will give you all the prosperity which you want. Although you don't want it, but he will see that you are in a difficult situation and he will give you what you want. So Sudama was thinking, why is my wife requesting again and again? But then he also realized that she is not saying it for herself. She is saying it because she is greatly attached to me. She is saying it because she can't see me suffering. So anyways, he thought that I will go and meet Lord Krishna because to get his darshan is the greatest fortune of life. Let my wife say that I should go and ask money, but I will not ask for money. I'll just go and meet him as a friend and come back. This was his thought in his mind. But he did not tell to his wife. He said, okay, I'll go and meet him. But in his mind he was thinking, I'm just going to meet a friend. I'm not going to ask money. But then he thought that how can I go empty-handed to meet my friend whom I love so much? Sudama's wife, being the most intelligent, the most chaste wife, understood the mind of her husband. Immediately, without any communication, she goes out of the house and she goes to 4 houses. And from 4 houses, she took 1 palm of flat chipped rice. one palm of flat chipped rice from each house. That means she was so dignified even in poverty that she would not ask. She was so dignified even in poverty that she would not ask. See how disturbance comes in. She was so dignified that she would not become dependent on any one person also. This is a principle which Brahmanas should follow. No saintly person, no Brahmana or no wife of a Brahmana or family members of Brahmana should become over dependent on anybody else's mercy except Krishna. Therefore, going regularly to only one house to accept food or going regularly to only one house to accept some services is forbidden for Brahmanas. So his wife knew that. So she brought 4 palms of handful of flat rice, and that too she begged from neighboring Brahmanas only, not from others. And then she tied it in a torn piece of cloth and gave it to Sudama, that here, you give this to Dwarkadish. Sudama was thinking that how will I be able to meet Lord Krishna? He started walking, by the way. He didn't book a flight ticket to Dwarka. He didn't book a Ola Uber cab or some bus, red bus, nothing. He walked. Recently, there was Ashad Ekadashi. And in the holy land of Pandharpur, more than 1 crore people walk every year and come to celebrate Ashad Ekadashi. That is the spirit of Tirth Yatra. Present day practitioners of bhakti, we don't know what is a Tirth Yatra. We just book a flight ticket, go there, find some faults in the prasadam, find some faults in the accommodation, find some fault in the organizational activities around the yatra, and then give some comments, put all the heart in the feedback form and come out. Or maybe break away from the yatra, make your own itinerary, do some sightseeing, go eat, drink something, miss all the Mangalatis, just come back. कहाँ से गए? वृंदावन से आ रहे हैं. क्या अच्छा लस्सी अच्छा है. गोवर्धन परिक्रमा किए. क्या परिक्रमा किए? वो गिरिराज स्वीट्स, वहाँ पर कचौरी खाए. परिक्रमा कैसे किए? ऑटो परिक्रमा कर लिए. Tapasya is the mool or the fundamental aspect of Tirth Yatra. So people used to walk. Tirth Yatra means they have started walking. God knows whether they will come back or not. Chalte chalte mar bhi sakte hain. Therefore many people, once they went to Tirth Yatra, they never came back. Not because they died, because they refused to go back to the materialistic life. Probably they settled in the dham, or they started doing some service somewhere, or maybe they died walking. That was Tirtha Yatra. So Brahmanas, they used to regularly go. So Sudama started walking. He was thinking, how will I meet Krishna? He is in Dwarka. He is the king of Dwarka. It's like booking a Rajdhani Express train ticket from Karnataka, landing in Hazrat Nizamuddin station, Delhi, and thinking, chalo Modi se milte hain. Kaise miloge? Not everybody can meet a king, no? So he was thinking like this. When he reached Dwarka, some other local Brahmanas were there. He joined with them. And then some description comes how that Dwarka city was there. He passed through 3 guard stations, 3 levels of security he crossed. And there were 3 gates, the external quarters, middle quarters, internal quarters. And then he went to the internal quarters of Lord Krishna. The Padma Purana gives some clarification that he directly went and stood in front of the door of the palace of Mother Rukmini. This is the description from Padma Purana. I am joining it with Bhagavatam here. Now, something to learn from here about the great rule of Lord Krishna. People who had these qualities, what were the 5 qualities of Sudama? He was most learned, detached from sense enjoyment, peaceful at heart and mind, senses were subdued and he was satisfied in life. Anybody who displays these 5 qualities, they should not be stopped from going anywhere. This is what administration means. Any person with a pure heart should be accessible, should be able to meet anybody. When will that day come? When people who actually have these 5 qualities, not just by their clothes but by their heart also, they should be able to access anybody, including the Prime Minister and President. Just go and sit for half an hour, they'll meet you. When that day will come, that means administration is happening properly. Srila Prabhupada met the President of India. Was he President? Lal Bahadur Shastri? Was he President or Prime Minister? Srila Prabhupada went and met the Prime Minister of India. Now is it possible for anybody? You go and meet, they'll throw you out. So that was the Dwarka kingdom. And it is mentioned that he goes inside, he enters the palace of Queen Rukmini, and inside the palace, Lord Krishna has come to meet Mother Rukmini, or maybe he is sitting with Mother Rukmini, having some discussion or having some personal time, whatever. He was sitting on the bed of Queen Rukmini. And Queen Rukmini was sitting, talking. That description is not there. In a previous chapter it is described that Queen Rukmini was doing chamar. Lord Krishna was sitting. So he is sitting on the bed, the main bed, जिसको आज के डेट में master bedroom बोलते हैं. He was in the master bedroom with Queen Rukmini. And from some distance he saw Sudama. Immediately, without any discussion, without any delay, immediately he got up from the bed and with great haste he ran towards the door and he embraced Sudama. This is what Bhagavatam says. Lord Krishna was seated on his consort's bed. Seeing Sudama, Lord Krishna stood up, went forward to meet him, and with great pleasure embraced him. The Supreme Lord felt intense ecstasy upon touching the body of his dear friend, the wise Brahmana, and thus he shed tears of love while embracing Sudama. So this is how Krishna receives Sudama. Now this contrast, as you see that photo there towards the end, the contrast is huge. Lord Krishna is Sri Niketana. He is the embodiment of all opulences, all wealth, all beauty, everything. You can well imagine how he would have been dressed. And here is Sudama, whose rib cages, bones of the rib cage are visible. Means he is very thin. His clothes are torn. The nerves in his body is protruding. He is dirty due to traveling. And Krishna is coming and embracing him. So you see in that painting, there are some people in the palace of Krishna who are doing like this. Oh, what is this? Who is this person? They are surprised. So the same thing started happening. Everybody started talking, who is this? Some old fellow, some poor fellow has come and Krishna is embracing him. How did Lord Krishna start serving Sudama? It is mentioned, Lord Krishna made his friends sit upon the bed. भगवान रुक्मिणी को बोले तुम थोड़ा साइड हटो और सुदामा को बैठा दिया अपने बेड पर ही. And then he started washing his feet. Till now Rukmini, the most devoted wife of Lord Krishna, understanding the mind of Lord Krishna, she brought a pot, golden pot full of water, fresh water. With that, Lord Krishna started washing the feet of Sudama and then sprinkled that water and put on his head and put on Rukmini's head also. Now who is Sudama and who is Krishna and who are Rukmini? Can you imagine? Rukmini is the goddess of fortune. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sudama is a devotee. He is teaching by his acharana how should people who are in the administrative orders, how should people who are in the position of rulers, kings, princes, administrators, tax collectors or whatever, or how should people who are in the household life, how they should welcome a sadhu. Lord Krishna is teaching the whole world by his personal example. Then he took some fragrant sandalwood pulp and started massaging the body, and then worshipped him, gave him some gift. It is mentioned he gave a cow as a gift, and with pleasing words, not with harsh words, with pleasing word, he welcomed him. Now Rukmini started personally doing Chamar Seva to Sudama. Acharya is right that it is not befitting the goddess of fortune to serve a man who has dirty, torn clothes, nerves protruding, poor, unhealthy, probably tired. It doesn't suit Lakshmi to serve someone like Sudama. But why she is doing it? Simply because this man is devoted to Krishna. Simply because Krishna likes this. Simply because her husband likes him. So, we should also try to understand that we have to take shelter of Krishna and not be mad behind Lakshmi. Lakshmi, being a chaste wife to Lord Krishna, will automatically favor the devotees according to the will of Krishna. So, all the residents in the palace were very astonished. Who is this shabbily dressed Brahmana who has come? And Lord Krishna is giving him royal treatment. They are discussing that what pious acts has this unkept poor Brahmana friend of Lord Krishna performed. People regard him as lowly, shameful, and yet the Lord is personally serving him, and the Lord has embraced him as if he were an older brother. So Lord Krishna would rarely embrace someone, but he has got that embrace. Lord Krishna, who carries Mother Lakshmi on her chest, that chest has touched the body of a Brahmana. Lord Krishna, whose arms are Ajanulambita Bhujo, who are reaching his knees, that beautiful arms have embraced this Brahmana. Who is this person? Just to make the people in the palace stop this gossip, Lord Krishna started loudly glorifying Sudama so that everybody can hear and shut up. Sudama was thinking, probably Lord Krishna has not identified me. He's thinking I'm someone else. I don't deserve this kind of a treatment. I think he has misunderstood me for someone else. That's why he's treating me like this. Does he know that I am Sudama? So Krishna, understanding the mind of Sudama, started immediately talking about the pastimes which happened in Gurukul, just to make Sudama understand that I know you and I understand who you are. Lord Krishna says something very unique, which Srila Prabhupada writes in great detail in Krishna book. Because Srila Prabhupada did not comment on these chapters, his disciples have commented. But in Krishna book, you will find what is the essence of the discussion of Krishna and Sudama. Prabhupada writes that Krishna asked Sudama that, my dear friend, the best thing to do is to remain a servant of Guru and eternally serve the spiritual master. However, if somebody is unable to tolerate the sex urge, then he should take permission of his spiritual master, come out of the Gurukul, accept a wife, but before that give Guru Dakshina to the Guru. Who says this? Krishna says this. So the same discussion is happening here also. That you look like a householder dressed. By dress, you don't look like a Naishtika Brahmachari who continued to serve the Guru. By dress, you look like a householder. But your condition is so bad, he's not saying this, it is inferred, that your condition is so bad that it looks like you are not able to enjoy any household happiness only. So therefore, to solve this concern or make this very clear, Krishna asks him, I understand that you have offered Guru Dakshina to our Guru and you have returned home. Did you marry a compatible wife or not? तुम्हारा हालत तो बहुत खराब दिख रहा है. This is verse number 28. And he says, I am aware. Even though you are in a family, your mind is never affected by lust and material desires. And you do not take pleasure in material wealth. I know this, Sudama. I know this because since childhood you are like this. I know you. Having given up material propensities which spring up from my Maya, people like you execute their duties just to set an example to the people. Like that, Sudama is talking. And every time he calls him Priyasya, Priyasya. The Acharyas comment that Krishna had many friends in his Gurukul, but Sudama was most favorite. Priyasya. You know how many days did Krishna stay in the house of his spiritual master? 64 days only. उसी में इतना दोस्ती हो गया. ऐसा कोई 10-15 years नहीं रहे थे. In 64 days, he learned 64 disciplines of knowledge which every human being should know or should aspire to know. And he learned one discipline in one day. So basically it is very clear he just went for formality. Who can learn one discipline in one day? Is it possible? People take years together to learn any one branch of knowledge. But he learned. So it was very clear that Krishna was setting an example that everybody needs to go and surrender to a spiritual master. Nobody should think that I will not surrender to my spiritual master and I will only have relationship with Krishna and that's enough. No. So Krishna is setting an example. And then Krishna gives a very great hint how to give up ignorance and how to advance in spiritual life. How many of you want to know how to give up ignorance and advance in spiritual life? Please raise your hands. Krishna says, when a student learns nicely from his guru, he can relish spiritual life which is beyond ignorance. Primarily, there are three spiritual masters. First is the father who gives physical birth. Because of the physical birth or because of the body which the father gives, it is possible to execute religious life. Second is that spiritual master who gives upanayana, or who in common language, one who gives diksha. And the third is that spiritual master who gives knowledge about Krishna. One who bestows spiritual knowledge about me is the supreme spiritual master, is as good as my own self. So everybody has three kinds of gurus. Number one, father. Number two, diksha guru. Number three, that acharya or that teacher who teaches everyone about Krishna, or one who gives knowledge about Krishna. Krishna says, those who take advantage of the words I speak in the form of a guru can easily cross over samsara. So two friends, when they are meeting after years, what they are talking? अरे वो ढाबा का चाय याद है, मजा आता था, मिडनाइट में जाते थे, अच्छा लगता था. Not these kind of things. They are discussing how to overcome birth and death. This is real India and this is real culture of India. Machchitta madgada prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. When my devotees, they meet, they discuss about me. Devotees, when they meet in private, what they discuss? Krishna only. If somebody in private is discussing anything else other than Krishna, they are not devotees. They are just sadhakas, not yet devotees. And Krishna is telling that there are many people who observe worship, who perform various austerities, penances, self-discipline, but nobody can please me as a person who has sincerely served his guru can please me. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado yasya prasadam nagati kuto. So all these discussions is happening. Then immediately Krishna reminds of one special experience which happened at the Gurukula. Oh Brahmana, do you remember one incident which happened at the school? Once our Guru's wife sent us to get firewood, and entering the forest, great unseasonal rain and storm arose with thunder. So Guru's wife is sending, that means she needs some firewood to cook, or she needs some firewood to perform the fire sacrifice. So for that purpose she is sending Krishna to the forest. This is a very menial service. Imagine if you come to this center and we tell you, थोड़ा वो कनमंगला लेक के पास जाइए, थोड़ा लकड़ी वकड़ी उठा के, पत्ता उठा के, थोड़ा कागज़ वगैरह जो भी है उसको उठा के लाइए. You'll feel like, do you know who I am? Everybody will feel offended. मुझे ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हो? Once in a day, once in a week I get off. On Sunday, after waking up at 10 a.m., I'm coming somehow with great difficulty. And now you're asking me to go and pick up garbage? This was the instruction which Lord Krishna used to get. Jao jakade lakdi leke aao. What Krishna is showing again by his personal example. See, this body is the main reason why this false ego exists. This concept of I exists mainly because of this body. Krishna is showing by his personal example. Until you put your body into conscious menial service of the Guru. And now we'll see how they got into great trouble. The great rain, great storm, great thunder came. And they all got stuck, and whole night they were getting wet in rain. Until one puts their body into difficulty while serving the spiritual master. Until one puts their body into great distress while serving the spiritual master, one cannot understand that I am not this body but the spirit soul. Until you put your body into great tapasya to serve the spiritual master, voluntary discomfort to serve the spiritual master, you cannot understand that I am not this body. You cannot overcome the false ego. Look at Srila Prabhupada, what he did. Did he put his body into great trouble to satisfy the spiritual master? He got 2 heart attacks. He could have left, no? Bahut hua. And you read the Prabhupada Lilamrit, how he is going from one house to another house distributing his Back to Godhead magazine, and people are asking him to wait, I'll come and give you the money. And he's waiting for 1 hour, 1.5 hours outside, they are not even calling him inside the house. And then a bull comes and hits him. And then he falls down on the ground and remains unconscious on the streets of Delhi for 1.5 hours. Is this not voluntary discomfort with the Acharya as the age of 69 is taking just to please his spiritual master? Now, if we do not take this kind of a voluntary discomfort, a voluntary life of tapasya, forget about going back to Godhead, we will not be able to give up our false ego also. That is what Lord Krishna is teaching. Lord Krishna, according to Brahma Samhita, the wind blows according in fear of him. The sun rises in fear of him. The rains come because of his order. What can rain, wind, sun, moon do to him? He is creating this circumstance that great rain came, great thunder came, great storm came, great wind came. We were all submerged. It was raining. We were not able to understand which is land, which is mountain. Just to prove this point, that it is important to use your body or put your body in difficulty while serving the spiritual master. Is this point clear? Thank you. If this has become clear, then let's sacrifice our body in the service of Srila Prabhupada. Let's try to do our best. So Krishna is saying, all the forest was covered by darkness, with flooding water, not able to distinguish high or low land. At that time, we completely lost our way amidst the flooding waters. This is the same Krishna who has lifted Govardhan. He's telling, we lost our way. Flooding waters. We were afraid. Holding each other's hands, we wandered aimlessly about the forest. Do you remember, my friend? And Sudama is telling, yes, I remember. And then next morning, Sandipani Muni, the spiritual master, understanding our difficulty after sunrise, came for us, looking for us. At that time, we were still holding the firewood in our hands, although wet, although without any shelter, struggling in the water, sacrificing our bodies for the service of the spiritual master. When our spiritual master saw us in that condition, he became pleased with us. Sandipani Muni became pleased with the dedication of Krishna and Sudama. Sandipani Muni said, you have suffered, you two friends have suffered so much for my sake. You are so dedicated to me, completely disregarding your own discomfort. You have offered your pure hearts, your wealth, and your very life, just like a true disciple should do. Therefore, I bless you. You boys are first class Brahmanas. Now, is Krishna a Brahmana or a Kshatriya? Then why is Sandipani Muni telling, you two boys, you are first class Brahmanas? What does Sandipani Muni mean? Qualities. Qualities. Everybody should develop Brahmanical qualities. You two boys are first class Brahmanas, and I am satisfied with you. May all your desires be fulfilled, and may you never forget anything which you have learned in the Gurukula. Kitna acha benediction. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, shloka number 63, Lord Krishna says, 62 and 63, Lord Krishna says, what harm comes if you forget? Dhyayato vishya pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamah kamat krodho vijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti smriti vibhramaha. Smriti lost हो जाता है तो क्या होता है? स्मृति भ्रंशाद बुद्धिनाशो buddhinashat pranashyati. If you lose memory, if you forget what is the purpose of life, if you forget why you came to the temple in the first place, if you forget why you came to Krishna consciousness in the first place, buddhinashat, then again simply waste of time will happen. So Lord Krishna was blessed, Brahmana Sudama was blessed, that may you never forget anything which you learned in the ashram. He didn't mean simply Vedic mantras, he meant the essence. So this discussion was happening between both of them, and both of them were holding hands. And Brahmana Sudama is saying, since I got your association in the Gurukul, I have got everything in my life. This is the time when Sudama revealed his mind. That although the whole world calls me poor, they don't know I have you in my heart. So I don't need anything. Unnecessarily my wife has sent me here. But good that she sent me here. I got your darshan. You are the supreme absolute truth, the source of all auspicious goals. Your staying at school was just to enact some pastimes for the human society to learn from. This Sudama also knew at that time. Congratulations, we have covered 43 verses and one chapter is over. Now the question to all of you and the organizers, should I continue or should I stop? How many of you want me to continue? I appreciate the organizers are not raising their hand. Okay. Respecting the organizers as well as the people, we will continue for a short time only. Hare Krishna. Chapter number 81, Lord blesses the Sudama Brahman. This is very important. Real friendship comes out in this chapter. Happy Friendship Day. The Lord is speaking with Sudama and he's looking at him with affection. And then he asked him, "What did you get me as a gift?" And Sudama is feeling ashamed. How can I give this to Krishna? Look at him and look at this 4 palmfuls of chipped rice. It is not even boiled. It has not even been soaked in. It is not even clean. How can I give this to Krishna? I have no devotion. You'll be very surprised. There is a verse, 10.81.4. It is there in Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 81, sloka number 4. You know what this verse is? This verse is Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yo me bhaktya prayachati Tad aham bhaktya uparitam Ashnami prayatat. Where else have you heard this verse? The same verse Krishna tells later in Bhagavad Gita also. The same verse is there in Bhagavatam also. So Krishna tells, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Anybody who offers me with love and affection anything, I will accept. Of course, this has some rules and regulations. To understand the Patram Pushpam Phalam verse, join our Bhakti Shastri. There we will explain, not here. Every Sunday, 7:15 a.m. Every Saturday, sharp at 7:15 a.m. to sharp 9:45 a.m. we do a class called Bhakti Shastri. Join there to understand. If you have devotion, can you offer something to Krishna without proper cleanliness? If you have devotion, but you are not attracted to Krishna, will Krishna accept your offering? If you are not all the time thinking of Krishna, but you are doing this offering seva just because your name came up in the service chart, will Krishna accept your offering? To discuss this and something else, please join our Bhakti Shastri. So Sudama was feeling too ashamed to offer that flat rice to the Lord, so he simply kept his head bowing in shame. Krishna kept asking, "Have you brought something for me? Have you brought something for me?" He didn't say anything. The Lord is thinking in his mind that he is my friend, he is my devotee. How did he become so poor? And then thinking something, he immediately snatched the potli or the cloth in which that flat chipped rice was tied. The Lord's mind is revealed partially in Srimad-Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam says, the Lord is thinking, in the past, Sudama never worshipped me with any material desire. Now also he has come to me, to see me, to please his wife. And he's trying to please his wife because she is very devoted to him. And she also does not want these favors for herself, she wants it for her husband. So therefore, seeing the great qualification of Sudama and his wife, I will give Sudama that wealth which even Brahma cannot dream of, which even Indra never had. Like that, the Lord is thinking, and thinking like this, he snatched the cloth which contained flat chipped rice. And then he said, "Hey, you brought this for me, huh? I didn't even know that you brought this for me." So this is called Nara Leela. Although he is the supreme personality of Godhead, omniscient, knowing everything, but he acts like a human being. But there are some fools like Duryodhana who consider him to be a human being also. Krishna says, "Hey, have you brought this for me, huh? It gives me great pleasure." And then Lord Krishna immediately opened it. No hand sanitizer, no nothing. Simply he opened it and immediately he put it in his mouth. One person felt bad. Who was that person who felt bad? Can you guess? Rukmini was feeling bad. What could be the reason why Rukmini is feeling bad? Hand sanitizer nahi tha. Okay, no space for mental speculation. Let's see what the acharyas have to say. Rukmini felt bad that Krishna the Vaikuntapati, the enjoyer of the best of dishes, who has a very tender stomach, how can he digest this flat chipped rice? Just like the gopis used to feel, gopiyon ki mahan chinta kya thi? How will Lord Krishna walk with this barefoot in the forest? His feet are so soft that when we hold it on our breasts or on our head, we feel that his head will get, or his feet will be injured because of being touched by our bodies. That Lord Krishna is walking barefoot in the forest. This was the worry. What is your chinta? This was Gopi's chinta. So similarly, Queen Rukmini is worried. How will Lord Krishna digest this? So she stopped. This is first reason. Second reason, Rukmini is internally communicating with Lord Krishna that, see, you are eating this. Leave something for me. Leave something for the other queens. Leave something for your sister, for our in-laws, for others. There are so many people. Thoda hamare liye bhi chhodiye. But Lord Krishna is internally communicating with her. No, I have to give something to my friend. As per the laws of karma, I have to take something from him. So Mother Rukmini tells Lord Krishna that simply by your satisfaction, my Lord, one will achieve everything in this life and the next. You are simply satisfied to meet your friend. This is enough. You need not eat this rice. This all communication is happening internally. They cannot talk like this in front of Sudama. So therefore, Lord Krishna was allowed to eat only one hand, according to Bhagavatam, not according to TV serial. TV serial में कुछ और है, रामानंद सागर में कुछ और दिखाया है. We respect that also, but Bhagavatam says out of 4 palmfuls, he could eat only 1 palm. And then whole night, Krishna and Sudama, they sat talking, they ate, they drank, and then he made Sudama sleep. And then out of excitement, he was serving whole night Sudama. And then Sudama was feeling that I have met my friend, I have got everything in my life. Next morning, Sudama, very delightedly, just like an intelligent Brahmana does, he did not overstay in the house of Krishna. Next morning only he picked up he had no baggage, sorry. He just started walking out. And Krishna came to tell bye to him. Sudama was too shy to beg for wealth, and Krishna also didn't say anything. Both of them, they just said bye. Krishna went for his other duties, Sudama went for his other duties. But Sudama took something in his heart. He took the feeling of gratitude. Now I'll tell you what Sudama is thinking. He's thinking Lord Krishna is known for his merciful attitude towards the Brahmanas. I heard earlier, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Today I have experienced also how he is so grateful, so hospitable to Brahmanas and to cows. Today I have experienced. He embarrassed the goddess of fortune by making her do chamar to a person like me, just to give me pleasure. How much he loves his devotees. And at this time, Sudama says a verse which I think all of us should memorize. Please repeat with me. Kwaham daridraha papiyan Kwa Krishna Shri Niketanaha Brahma Bandhu itismaham Bahubhyam parirambhitaha. Sudama Brahmana is thinking, Kwaham daridra papiyan. Who am I? Kwaham. I am a daridra. I am a poor person because of my previous sinful activities. And I am a papi. Daridra papi. And who is Krishna? Shri Niketana. He is the abode of all wealth and all fortune. All beauty, all strength, all fame, everything is there in him. Brahma Bandhu itismaham. He is known to favor the Brahmanas, but I am a hypocritical Brahmana. I am acting like a Brahmana. I have no qualities of a Brahmana. This is how devotees of Krishna think. If you have started thinking I am chanting Hare Krishna and I am attending some classes. Now I am a great person. I deserve respect. Whichever ISKCON temple I go, immediately the garland and the Mahaprasad thali should come. If you are thinking like this, you are not a devotee, you are a mithyachari. So Sudama is thinking, Brahma Bandhu itismaham. Sudama's qualities are glorified by Bhagavatam in the beginning of the 80th chapter, those 5 glorious qualities. But he is thinking, I don't have those qualities. I am just a friend of a Brahmana. I am like a Brahmana, but I am not a Brahmana. Brahma Bandhu itismaham. Bahubhyam parirambhitah. Those arms have embraced me. And he was feeling embarrassed. Why did those arms embrace me? How will you feel, or how will I feel when Krishna's arms embrace us? We'll be like, hey, Krishna has embraced me. You better be careful while dealing with me. But Sudama was not doing like that. He treated me like his own brother, and the goddess of fortune was fanning me. Although Krishna is Deva Deva, he is the master of all devatas, but he was serving me like a devata. Although he did not give me any wealth, I am fine. Sudama is thinking like this. Because Krishna knows that I am a wretched person. Krishna gave so much wealth to Prahlad because he was mature in his Krishna consciousness. Krishna knew that if I give wealth to Prahlad, he will not give up bhakti. But he did not give me any wealth because he knows I am a wretched, attached person. If he gives me any wealth, I will give up my chanting and I will deviate in Krishna consciousness. Achha hai, humko kuch nahi diya. This is his thought process while going home. But then, something happens when he reaches home. When he reaches his home, he sees his house is not there only. Some great mystical palace is there. And then next 4 or 5 verses, the palace is described. I will not describe that because everybody will go in inferiority complex if I describe Sudama's palace. But do you want to go in inferiority complex? Yes or no? ठीक है. Many people are very proud of their house. अभी दिखाता हूँ. 10th canto, chapter 81, shloka number 21 onwards. You know, Krishna, Bhagavatam knows what to write where. Sudama finally came to the place where his home used to earlier stand. But that place was now crowded on all sides with towering celestial palaces, rivaling the combined brilliance of the sun, fire and the moon. There were splendorous, spacious courtyards and gardens, each filled with flocks of various kinds of birds and beautified ponds in which Kumuda, Amboja, Kahlara, Utpala lotuses grew. What are these different lotuses? I did some research. Kumuda means white lotus. Utpala means blue lotus. Amboja means pink lotus. And Kahlara means other fragrant lotuses and flowers. आपके घर में तो केवल आर्टिफिशियल. Finely attired men and beautiful eyed women stood as servants and maid servants in attendance. Sudama wondered, what is all this? Whose property is this? How did I come here? It is mentioned in the Padma Puran that previous night his wife had slept in a very poor condition, unkept condition, unhealthy condition, distressed condition. But when she woke up in the morning, she found herself wearing very nice clothes, very nice jewelry, all vitamin B12, D deficiency, sab khatam. And she was looking like a demigoddess. Immediately she understood that this is because of the association which my husband has had with Lord Krishna. That means the wife of a Brahmana is a very intelligent Brahmani. She is very intelligent. She knows the real import of the scriptures. And she understood that my husband will not recognize all this. So she sent the people outside, बाहर जाके उनको बोलो कि यही उनका घर है. And Lord Krishna is also very mature. Huh? He kept Sudama looking like that only, protruding veins and ताकि दूसरे लोग उसको पहचान सकें. But he made the wife look like some goddess of fortune, ताकि Sudama नहीं पहचान सके. Who says God has no sense of humor? Anyways. So, the beautiful men and maid servants came forward to greet Sudama and played celestial music. Immediately, the Brahmana's wife came out of the house in jubilant flurry, and she was resembling goddess of fortune herself. Sudama was thinking, whose wife is coming towards me? And I don't know you, my dear lady. So, she greeted her husband with eyes filled of tears, and she embraced him in her heart. No public display of affection. Vedic culture means no public display of affection. Only those with a pure heart can understand how gopis embraced Krishna in Kurukshetra in their hearts. Only those who have a pure heart can understand how queens of Krishna used to embrace him in their hearts. And only a chaste wife can understand how to embrace the husband in her heart. So she is embracing her husband in her heart. And Sudama is amazed to see his wife amongst all this opulence of the demigods. And then immediately, as he recognizes that this is my wife only, although पहचान में नहीं आ रहा, but मेरा ही wife है. Immediately his body also transforms. वो protruding veins ऐसा हो गया, फिर नहीं दिख रहा था. And he got good clothes, good jewelry, and then he understood that Krishna wants me to accept this opulence. Because it is Krishna's desire, although I don't want it, please take note, although I don't want it, but because Krishna wants it, I will align with Krishna's desire and accept it. In this mood, Sudama accepted that opulence and went inside. अब अंदर जाने के बाद inferiority complex और बढ़ेगा, क्योंकि description of the interiors are given. सुनना है? सुन लो डिटेल में नहीं बताऊंगा क्योंकि ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को अच्छा नहीं लगेगा शायद. ये तो लेट कर रहे हैं, ऊपर से इंटीरियर डेकोरेशन कर रहे हैं. In Sudama's home were beds as soft and white as the foam of milk, with bedstead, इसको बोलते हैं chair stead, with bedstead made of ivory, elephant tusk, ivory, ornamented and leafed with gold. There were sofas with golden legs, as well as royal chamara fans, golden thrones, soft cushions, and gleaming canopies which were hanging with strings of pearls. Upon the walls were sparkling crystal glass. How were lighting done in previous days? So they used to put some reflecting glasses or reflecting stones, and in between they will burn one lamp. That lamp will go and strike all the stones and the house will get bright. So upon the walls of the sparkling crystals were put there, and these walls, they were inlaid with precious emeralds and bejeweled lamps, and the women in the palace were adorned with all precious gems. He viewed all these luxurious opulences of all varieties and calmly started thinking that how he got so much prosperity. Sudama is thinking, I have been always poor and unfortunate. How did I suddenly become rich? It is only because Krishna has glanced upon me. And thinking this, he started remembering how mercifully Krishna was glancing at me. He was smiling and looking at me. He was laughing at me. And in this way, he got absorbed in that smiling glance of Krishna. Now he started explaining the mind of Krishna to himself. He's thinking that why did Lord Krishna not tell me that he is giving me all this opulence? Why did my friend not tell me? I understand why he did not tell me. my friend would have seen that I gave him something, that 4 palmful of chipped rice, and that was beyond my capacity. I gave him something as a gift which was beyond my capacity. So Krishna also naturally wanted to give me something beyond his capacity. But when Krishna glanced over the entire Tribhuvan, he saw there is nothing beyond this Tribhuvan to give. So beyond my capacity, what can I give? So feeling ashamed that my friend gave me something beyond his capacity, but I am able to give him riches only up to that of Brahma and Indra, out of shame my friend kept quiet. This is the nature of my friend. I gave him just flat chipped rice, but he considered it as the greatest gift. But the greatest gift which he gave me, he considered it as insignificant. This is the nature of Krishna. This is the mind of Krishna. Who is explaining this? Sudama is explaining this. So therefore he is praying that may I serve my Lord in the association of his devotees, life after life. May I cultivate such firm attachment for him by the precious association of his devotees. Meaning, if you want to progress in Krishna consciousness, then you need the association of devotees. Those who give up the association of devotees, how can they progress in Krishna consciousness? Now, Sudama was not an ordinary person. Although Krishna gave him great wealth, but he did not enjoy them unrestrictedly. Although he had a palace which was greater than Indra, he continued to sleep on the floor. Although he had so many riches which were beyond the imagination of Indra, he still never gave up his chanting and his vows. This is called a devotee. Always remember, Krishna will test us both in poverty as well as in opulence. We need to pass both the tests. In this way, he constantly kept meditating, not on his wife or not on the palace or not on the blue, white, red, green lotuses. No. He kept constantly meditating on Krishna. How he was talking to me, how he was holding my hand, how he left his wife to meet me, how he welcomed me, how he massaged my lotus feet, not how he massaged my feet. Like that. Constantly kept thinking, and in this way, thinking, chanting, he went back home, back to Godhead. Bhagavatam does not miss to say that he attained the spiritual abode very quickly. How many of you want to quickly go back home, back to Godhead? बहुत कम लोग हाथ उठा रहे हैं. Okay, let me ask a more relevant question. How many of you want to go back to Godhead immediately? उसमें तो बहुत लोग नहीं, immediately नहीं प्रभु, 1 साल चाहिए. So in this way, this unique friendship of Krishna and Sudama discussion comes to an end. But what did you get out of hearing this? The Bhagavatam says, anyone who hears this account of the Supreme Lord's kindness to Sudama like Brahmanas. Are you ready to hear? Anyone who hears this account of Supreme Lord's kindness to Brahmanas becomes free from the bondage of material work. How many of you want to become free from the bondage of material work? Thank you very much for faithfully hearing this wonderful pastime of Krishna meeting Sudama and Lord Krishna blessing Sudama, chapter 80 and 81 of Srimad-Bhagavatam 10th Canto. I hope this discussion gave you some desire to read Srimad-Bhagavatam. I hope this discussion made you realize that your only true real friend is Krishna. And I hope this discussion will give all of us some shame that leaving this true friend, we have invested so much time and energy to serve our senses and serve some materialistic people in the society. Thank you very much. Granth-Raj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Happy Friendship Day.